You want all the good energy? Well,
next year.
You were hopeful last year. Okay. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I am Britt, and if you haven't subscribed yet, you probably should, because I normally talk about geeky things, but starting last year, I started a new annual tradition on my channel, which is let's talk about the year and then ask questions about next year. So luckily I've got talking points here. So this is the last Thursday of the year, which means we're gonna revisit my questions from last year's video. I'm gonna answer those questions, and I have some more questions for 2022 Brit. So let's just get on it, shall we? And just like last year, I ran a poll on Twitter to ask you guys how you'd want me to do it this year. Last year mukbang won, this year wine story time won. So here we are with a glass of wine. So the first question that I asked myself was, how did your big change go? The good, the bad, repercussions, did it actually happen? Yes, the big change actually happened, and you all should know what that big change is, and that is I was planning on getting Apollo. Now the reason why I asked, did it actually happen, was because I actually was planning on getting a dog years ago. I actually started planning on getting a puppy back when I worked at Petco, so that would have been like 2015-ish. The reason I chose not to was because I had decided that I was going to go into real estate. I was going to quit my job and go to real estate school. So I knew that financially it just didn't make sense to add a puppy, because the first year of a puppy's life has a lot of expenses with a whole bunch of vaccines that have to be done. I wasn't sure. I was gonna try and hold off. By the way, he is crated right now just for ease of making this video, because he is still very puppy, but he's also gotten really big. So it's just easier, especially with wine and my computer right here. It just made better sense for him to be crated right now. So I do apologize. He is crated. He will not be making an appearance in this video. But anyway, he's gotten really big, and so when you've got a big dog and they're still very puppy, it's tough. I wasn't planning on neutering him in his first year. I was planning on neutering him after he had reached a year. I was planning on neutering him around a year old, if not closer to a year and a half. That then declined when I talked to my vet to 9 months. We were aiming for 9 months because she felt as though 9 months would have been okay. But then I realized that 9 months would have been Christmas time, because he'll be 9 months on my mom's birthday. So that just didn't work out either. Plus he started showing a lot of weird aggression towards Cosmo, so I did decide, my vet and I together decided that 6 months was okay to neuter him. And I know that there are probably some people out there that will seriously judge that. That was a decision that I did not take lightly, and it was a decision that I made with my vet. So I just want you to be aware that that was not like a let's just do this. It was a series of unfortunate events that led to the decision to neuter him. So he was neutered at 6 months, which of course comes with its own huge vet bill. So I knew that going into real estate, I wasn't going to be able to afford having a puppy. So I put that plan on hold until I knew I could afford it, which didn't happen until 2019, which is when I started to toy with the idea again. And then through the course of 2020, my anxiety about Cosmo's age just really got bad. And so then my mom, my dad, and my therapist all thought it was not a bad idea for me to consider getting a puppy. So I got him, as you guys should know now, May of this year. But yeah, I was already planning on getting him. At that point, I was still planning on getting a collie though. Like, I had not decided to get another golden at that point. It wasn't until New Year's Day, actually, that I decided not to get a collie, because it was New Year's Day. It was the morning. I hadn't gotten out of bed yet. My cat hadn't scratched my cornea yet. Oh my god, that was almost a year ago. And it took like 3 months for my vision to fully come back. Yikes. Anyway, so it was right before my cat scratched my cornea. If you guys remember that storyline of this year, my cat scratched my cornea on New Year's Day. I spent New Year's Day at an ophthalmologist. So there you go. But it was right before that happened, and I was kind of doing some research, and I found some stuff out about the breeder that I was going to go to that just really raised a lot of red flags. So I just opted to not go with that. So at this point last year, when I made that video, I was still planning on getting a collie. So just so you guys are aware, that was the plan at the time. His name was not Apollo yet. Apollo came, I think, shortly after that, because I think I was still getting a collie when I decided to on the name Apollo. But yeah, that was a thing. I hadn't decided golden retriever yet, so it wasn't until early January that I made that decision. Question number 2 is, did you get any good acting jobs this year? I got a few acting jobs, but nothing that really went anywhere. A lot of the projects canceled, fell through. I was fired from one of them. I was fired from one of them because I had the audacity to call somebody out on their ableism, and she claimed it wasn't ableism, but it's part of my mental, it's part of my brain disability, which is dyslexia. And so telling somebody who has dyslexia that you're not being ableist towards dyslexics, that's not the way to be. But so she fired me from that job. Quite frankly, I was perfectly fine with having that job be lost. It wasn't going to make or break my career, so I wasn't too upset about it. But no, I didn't get anything good this year. I did a lot of acting, but I did not get anything really substantial, so if that helps. Did you get back into theater this year? Kind of. Actually, towards the end of the year, kind of. So I now work part-time for a theater. I work in marketing for a new theater group that is starting up. And I am thrilled to be sort of back in theater. I'm not acting in theater. I would love to start acting in theater again, but sounds like he wants me to be definitely marketing, but maybe possibly directing. Did you get an agent this year? Did you put it off again? It wasn't really that I put it off. It's that a lot of other things ended up taking a lot more precedence than getting an agent. Though that is going to be a priority in 2022. Only just because the route that I was going without an agent really wasn't panning out the way I wanted it to. So I definitely want to get into a studio, make a demo, and get with an agent. That is definitely a priority this coming year. So that's something that I am actively looking towards. I just never did it this year because other things took priority. So like having a puppy. That took up a lot of my year. I got him about halfway through the year, but still, like, that took up a lot of my time and effort and energy, which is why, like, I feel so burned out now. Did you actually go to Paramorphicon? Because I was supposed to go in 2020. That got postponed to 2021. No, because that got postponed yet again to 2022. So, no, I did not go to Paramorphicon this year. The plan is still to go next year. That is still the plan. Did you go to Disneyland? No, because the trip got postponed to 2022. I wasn't going to go out to LA, to the LA area and not go to Paramorphicon, so, and having to go then the next year. So the plan is go to LA this summer in August. I'm going to go to Paramorphicon, I'm going to go to Disneyland, I'm going to go to Santa Monica, and I'm going to meet up with a couple of friends that I have out in LA. So it'll be really nice to see them. I haven't seen Kyle or his wife for a long time, since 2019, early 2019. So we're talking almost 3 years, and I miss the hell out of those two, considering I used to see them every year. So at Detour. So how, you know, what's the status of your health journey? And specifically, did you meet up with a dietitian? So my frustration last year with the dietitian was I was having the hardest time finding a dietitian that worked weekends or evenings. And unfortunately, my schedule at the time required me to either be meeting somebody on the weekends or in the evening. Luckily, right after this video had been filmed, I got switched back to the morning shift. So now I'm off at 4, or right around 4. And so, being that I still work from home, it was really easy for me to hop onto my personal computer and meet with a dietitian at 4. So I actually did touch base finally with a dietitian early on in the year, in January, specifically an intuitive eating dietitian, where I was able to break a lot of my food rules and focus on intuitive eating, which essentially, if you guys are unaware, I've talked about it a little bit on this channel already. I've eaten I've eaten for a day as an intuitive eater. I have talked about my journey with intuitive eating, where I was kind of at the beginning, where I am now-ish. And essentially what it is listening to your body's hunger and fullness cues, not restricting the type of foods you eat, just letting yourself eat whatever it is you want. If that means you're eating chocolate, that means you're eating chocolate. If that means you're going to eat something that's really nutrient dense, that means you're going to eat something that's really nutrient dense. Not having moral value attached to food. So, chocolate isn't a junk food, isn't a bad food. It is just food. Is it as nutrient dense as other foods? No. Is it a fun food that you can still enjoy? Absolutely. And I still allow myself chocolate every single day. As a way to just allow myself to just enjoy it and indulge. Because chocolate is something that has always given me a lot of comfort, and that's okay. So eating intuitively has been a change, has changed my entire life, has saved my life. I did have not a true binging episode a few nights ago, but I did have something close to it. I did overeat, because I was in a place where my brain just needed that moment. And so I allowed myself to feel it. I allowed myself to do it. And I did not beat myself up afterwards, which is huge, a huge change for me. That's always something that I struggled with tremendously whenever I would binge eat, is feeling like crap and beating myself up about it for days. And that didn't happen this time. I just allowed it to happen naturally, and I actually stopped before it was a true binge. So there have been some serious strides made where that's concerned, and I am actually ridiculously proud of the journey that I've taken. Plus, now my brain is actually craving the more nutrient dense foods, which of course is kind of there is like this honeymoon phase of intuitive eating where you're gonna eat nothing but fun foods all the time, because I liken it the way I explained to my mom, because she's on her intuitive eating journey as well as I am. She's learning from me how it works and things like that. But I explained to her, look, you've been this teenager with a locked liquor cabinet just sitting right there in front of you all this time, and now somebody's giving you the keys to that liquor cabinet. Yeah, you're gonna get drunk. So there's this honeymoon phase with intuitive eating where pretty much all you eat for a little while is the fun foods, because your brain's going, I can eat this and that's okay. And then eventually your brain starts to go, oh, well, I can eat this anytime. Like, I don't need to eat this right now. And eventually your brain will start craving the more nutrient dense foods naturally, because your brain knows the nutrients that it needs. Their body knows all of that. So I am in a really good place. My body has now started to naturally want those foods. Like this afternoon, I was like, oh, I kind of want a peanut butter sandwich. It's like, but I don't have any peanut butter and I haven't run to the store yet. Well, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make my really nutrient-dense sandwich that I make all the time. I make it every day during the week for sure. And I even stopped, like, I also allowed myself this treat of fast food every single Friday. That was just kind of my thing. I've even stopped doing that every week now, and now because I just genuinely love that sandwich. I genuinely love my breakfasts. It's such a weird mindset change, because I used to go, I have to eat this because it's healthy. But now my brain genuinely craves it. My brain genuinely wants it. And it's not that I'm restricting anything, because I still allow myself chocolate every day. It's such a cool place to be, and it's genuinely changed my entire outlook on food, my entire outlook on my life, and just, it has changed my life in general, and it's saved my life. I love it. So that's where I'm at my health journey. Mentally, I've not been doing amazing lately. I have been very up and down this whole December so far. I've had some pretty good days, but I've also had some pretty nasty days. I'm just going through a lot for some reason right now, and I don't know what exactly. I mean, a lot of it's stress at work, and a lot of that is going away now, which is amazing. And of course, a lot of it's stress about the puppy. And I'm doing Vlogmas, which added just a whole new level of stress this year. It's over now upon seeing this, but go watch all 25 videos. Go have fun. Watch them. Actually, I think it's going to end up being 26. How's Nova? Nova actually calmed down this year. She is almost 3. She'll be 3 in April. And she really calmed down this year, which was amazing. Because she was such a terror her first 2 years. She was an absolute terror. And I love her to pieces. She's my favorite little cat ever. You know, we cuddle all the time. She's obsessed with me, and I love her so much. She's my best friend. But at the end of the day, man, she was tough as a kitten. She was a tough kitten to deal with. But I'm glad she calmed down before I got the puppy, because I think having to deal with her nonsense and the puppy's nonsense would have thrown me way over the edge. So we're in a good place where that's concerned. How's Cosmo? Cosmo's doing well. However, Cosmo almost died this year, and that was traumatizing. I almost actually called the breeder that I got Apollo from and almost told him I wanted to drop out of getting a puppy, because he got sick right before Apollo came home, basically. A month before Apollo came home. Apollo was born. We were excited to bring home a new puppy, and then all of a sudden Cosmo nearly dies. So what happened was he got pancreatitis and he had a UTI. The UTI was the first kind of sickness that I noticed in him, because he was peeing all the time. He had accidents in the house again, which he hasn't had in a long, long time. So I tried treating him at home. I had no idea it was a UTI, but I tried treating him at home for some. He was starting to feel sick, essentially. And so I started treating him for stuff at home. And then that's when the peeing started. I was like, okay, this is probably worse than what I can treat at home. And then I made an appointment. They're like, we'll fit you in here. And then that got moved up because things got worse, and they just progressively got worse until I had to bring him into the ER. I had to bring him to the emergency vet. And he spent a weekend in the emergency vet over Nova's birthday, and nearly died. He had a ridiculously high fever. I think it was 106, which is ridiculously dangerous for dogs. Their normal temperatures between 101 and 102. So that was very dangerously high. He's fine. He's pretty much all fully back. But his body never fully recovered from that. So he has a lot more trouble moving around. He has trouble getting up and down. He doesn't sit anymore. Because his body never fully recovered from that trauma. And I never fully recovered from that trauma. And it was very difficult to watch him go through it, to be here without him for a couple of days. Nova really had trouble with it as well. She actually wouldn't come near me for hours after I brought him into the emergency vet, because I think she thought that I did something to him, because I left with him and never came back with him. And he and Nova are best friends. So it's so hard. It was so hard to watch her also deal with the fact that he wasn't here. And all of a sudden I had this emotional kind of thing where I was like, what if he never comes home? And then when he did come home, there was also this part of me that thought, what if he died? And I had this emotional break, and everybody's just playing along, pretending he's still there just to make me feel better, because they know that I can't handle the truth. And I actually admitted that to my mom one day. And she reassured me. She goes, no, don't you worry, he's still alive. Because my brain has done amazing things to keep me safe over the years, you know, developing CPTSD was my brain's way of coping with what I went through as a kid. All of the hard stuff that I went through as a kid, and why wouldn't my brain break when the most important being in my life goes? Like, I was so scared to lose him, and it became so clear what that's gonna feel like. I mean, I know it's gonna be 10 times worse when it actually happens, but God, what I went through that weekend was beyond difficult. To the point, like I said, he came home and I had this emotional break. I thought I had this genuine fear that I had this weird emotional break, that he died, and my brain was just still seeing him, and people were just letting me believe that he was still alive, you know, to protect me. But my mom was, no, he's still alive, he's okay. Anyway, so yeah, Cosmo's doing well as he can for what he went through last spring. Yeah, I'm not doing well where that's concerned. Like I said, he never fully recovered physically, and I never really recovered emotionally, so there's that. How are the leopard geckos doing? Van is doing well, Langley's doing well, Suri's doing well, and Haro's doing well. I think Haro is pretty much hibernating now. Langley hibernated for a good portion of the winter last year, which concerned you greatly from time to time, but you would constantly kind of look in there and see that he had moved. So he hibernated quite a bit, actually. Last winter you didn't see him for months. And you didn't want to clean out his tank because you didn't want to bug him either, so because you know usually when they're hibernating it's for a reason, so you kind of spot cleaned what you could, but you tried to leave him alone. You didn't see him for months. So anyway, so but everybody's doing well where the leopard geckos with the reptiles are concerned. It's the next one that's gonna be tough. So I asked, how's Nodley doing? Nodley is currently awaiting burial in my freezer, which I am terrified to ever open. I opened it one time to grab something out of my freezer, and I saw the bag sitting there, and I started to cry. So there's that. But I had the assumption that she might have passed away this year because I asked, did you lose her this year? Because I said in the video specifically that I was starting to realize just how old she was getting, and that she was starting to slow down, and she held on for a good portion of the year, but yeah, she passed away in October. So there's that. How's work going? Are you still at your same job? Are you supervisor yet? And do they still like you? Yes, and yes. I was actually just promoted to supervisor, literally actually. So I got the position in September, and I've been working the position to an extent since then, but I got word yesterday at work that I had officially been promoted on the 12th of December. So I get a new paycheck next pay period with my raise and everything. So yeah, so that was good. But yeah, I am still there. I like it. I'm still working from home at this point. I will have to start a hybrid schedule starting the new year, but for the most part, I am still working from home. I do still like it. I'm really liking my new position, which is good. And yes, everybody still likes me. The team looks very different than it did this time last year. But everybody still likes me. Nobody's trying to get me fired yet. That's always a fear in a job, is because people try to get me fired at PetSmart and people try to get me fired at Yankee. So that's always a fear of mine going into a job. But so far, this job has been very, very healing for my workplace trauma that I experienced at PetSmart and at Yankee. So this has been very, very healing. And so that's been incredible. how do you like Dino Fury? I actually just filmed a video before this about talking about how I feel about the rest of season 1. I like it. There are some issues I have with it. I mean, this video went up last week, so specifically Ion, a lot of issues I have with Ion, but aside from that, I like the season a lot. I love that we have our first LGBTQ like show canon, like this is an actual thing versus implied homosexuality or bisexuality or just LGBTQ in general, implied in previous seasons by actors or by situations in the episodes, whatever it may be. And this one is outright, she has a girlfriend and they hold hands, and I love it. So a lot of really good things about Dino Fury, a lot of good things. How's your creative life going? Did you direct anything this year? No. Did you paint anything this year? One thing. And did you do any writing this year? Yes, I competed in NaNoWriMo. I won NaNoWriMo, and this month in December, I finished my book. I'm so excited. I'm sitting on it and I'm gonna finish Deepwater. So hopefully by the end of this year, maybe, if I really can start focusing on it again, hopefully maybe I will finish Deepwater, because there's not much left to finish. Theoretically, I could finish it. I just need to read through and figure out places that I need to add things to. But yeah, I finished a book. My first time ever finishing a book. I'm thrilled. So proud of myself. But yeah, and so we'll see how that goes. And then the last question, which I added on the very, very end, is did you get vaccinated? I did get vaccinated. I am fully, well, I don't have the booster yet. I am looking into getting the booster. I was considered fully vaccinated as of the end of May. I did get vaccinated. I went to the Mall of America to get vaccinated. I was on a statewide waiting list, and my number came up. And I got vaccinated. So I'm very proud of myself for that. I got Pfizer, if you guys are curious. So I did have to get 2 doses, 3 weeks apart. And I am, again, like I said, looking into getting the booster. And that is top priority for 2022. So that is 2021. Nothing else really to report. All the questions I asked in 2020 were actually really good for 2021. Nothing major outside of what I asked happened. So that's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and hope for the same for 2022 questions here. So number 1, how is Apollo? Specifically, did you get CGC done? That's Canine Good Citizenship. He does need to complete Canine Good Citizenship in order to go into therapy training. Which is, you know, my requirement for him to be able to be listed as my ESA, because he has to be able to help me through panic attacks. He has to help me through my depression, and what I now understand is PTSD flashbacks. So, good. Did you get into agility this year? I've always really wanted to do agility with a dog, and he's so fast and so smart. But again, at first when I thought about going into agility, I was looking into getting a herding dog. But now that I've got him, I still think he'll do really, really well. So did you get into agility, and how is he doing? I'm guessing he's doing well, because boy, that dog. And did he ever calm down? Cosmo started to calm down at about a year old. That's when he started to really that's when he really started to calm down. He was still pretty destructive, but he calmed down at the very least. So I'm hoping Apollo, even though he's a little more high strung than Cosmo ever was, I'm hoping that Apollo has calmed down by the time he's a year old, or at least at this point, he would be like a year and 9 months. So this point next year. So did he ever calm down? Because he's almost 2. Cheers. If he has not, may God have mercy on your soul. How's Cosmo? Were there any more health issues this year? Please tell me no. Please tell me that he is still alive, because I cannot imagine my life without him. And I know my life will exist without him sooner rather than later. but please tell me we have another year with him. Please. Please tell me we have another year with him. I can't even think about it. Okay, moving on. How's Nova? Does she still hate the puppy? My guess is yes, she probably still hates the puppy. Unless he's calmed down. If he is calmed down, then she probably doesn't hate him anymore. The Leopard Geckos, Van, Langley, Surrey, Haro, how are they doing? Are they doing well? All of them are still in a prime age, so I can't imagine you lost any of them this year, because none of them are old yet. They're getting there. Van's, what? Got him in 2012, so 2011. I got Van in 2011, so that means he's 10 this year, so he'll be 11 next year, so he's got another 4 or 5 years left. Langley's a year younger. Surrey is probably another year or two younger than that, and then Haro is the youngest. So Haro was born in 2015-ish. So there you go. How are they all doing? Did you get any new pets this year? Because specifically, you are looking into the possibility of all 3 of these happening this year. An axolotl, because you've always wanted an axolotl. And I'll explain why in another question here. Why I have all of a sudden all this room for all these things. A nano reef tank, which you want to put into your 25 column. And you've got your 55 that an odd lady used to live in that now you want to make into a cichlid tank, specifically a Lake Malawi cichlid tank. So did those 3 things happen? Did any of them happen? Did one of them happen? Let me know. And did you actually let your nephew name your axolotl? Because that is definitely a consideration that you've made. Because he really wants an axolotl, but they're just too much work for a kid his age without the experience. So so I've been thinking about doing that it'll be his axolotl, but I'll take care of it. So I actually thought about even letting him name it, or getting 2 axolotls and having him have one and me have one. I can name one, he can name one. I don't know. Let me know with the outcome of that situation. Oh, and then here's how you ended up with more room. Did you move upstairs? You and your parents have been talking about it for a while. So I mean, me and my parents have been talking about it for a while. Me moving upstairs, then moving down here into this unit. Did that actually take place this year? And did you do the documentary about it that you wanted to do? So, because a lot of it's going to come with redesigning the space and reimagining the spaces and things like that. Major paint jobs all over the house, including like the kitchen and putting up backsplash and stuff. So the plan has always been to make kind of a little documentary about it. Did you make that documentary? Did you enjoy it? Was it fun? Did it get you HGTV views? Probably not. And then along with that, did mom and dad build their house? So mom and dad bought a property up on Lake Superior that they plan on building a house on. Did they actually build that house on Lake Superior? And is it as cool as it sounds? Because it sounds so cool. Did they actually build it? And did you make that documentary? Because again, your parents were kind of looking forward to this idea that you would make a documentary for them. And so I want to know, did you make that documentary? Give us an update on the books. So right now you're focused on, right now I am focused on finishing Deepwater, and It Was Always You is already finished. So any updates on that? Did you revise either one of them? Did you finish Deepwater? Did you revise any of them? Have you started the querying process for any of them by this point next year? Did you compete in NaNoWriMo again this year? And did you finish that book? Let me know that. I didn't even write that one down, but there you go. Any new acting jobs? Did you do an acting job? Because I know at this point, like I said a little bit earlier in the video, I really want to focus in 2020 on getting an agent and going that direction and trying to make the career that happen that way. So let me know, did you get any acting jobs and did it come through an agent? Let me know. Or was it like this year and other things just kind of took precedence, other things needed to have focus on them versus that? I mean, you'll always go back to acting. That has never been a question in my life ever. Like, I am an actor at heart. That is what I'm meant to do for the rest of my life, and I know that. But at the same time, other things can take priority too. And those things are really important just as much. Those things are just as important for your mental and physical and spiritual health. And that has always been my focus. For every year, I have wanted to work on my mental, spiritual, and physical health. And that has a whole new meaning for me this year. But, you know, acting can also cause you a lot of anxiety. But let me know, did you get any acting jobs? Voice acting, stage acting, anything like that? Did you play Emma again? Or did you play Miss Bates again in Emma? Because you have thought about it. There was actually a time where I almost auditioned for Emma again, specifically for Miss Bates, because I'm about the age that Miss Bates would be in the play. And so, like, did you? Because if you did, cool. Did you convince the owner of the theater production to put on Emma just so you can play Miss Bates? Ooh, man, I hope he does. I Bring You Flowers. Anyway, we're getting way off topic. Are you still working at the theater that hired you this year? Are you still working with them? How is that going? Let me know how that's going. And what have you done? Have you done more? Have you acted for them? Have you directed for them? Have you done anything other than marketing for them? Not that that's a problem. You enjoy the marketing piece of it, and it's been fun so far. How is your health journey going? Can we get another update on your health journey, specifically with your intuitive eating, issues with your EDs, body dysmorphia, body positivity? How is that going? How are you healing your soul when it comes to, you know, how much you've damaged it through diet culture through your entire life? How is that going? Did you do anything with your script? Oh, so in college, I wrote a script. I wrote a play in college, and I found it recently. And I read through it, and boy, is it rough, but is it good. So, and if you follow me on my vlogging channel, if you followed through Vlogmas, you would know that I found it, you would know that I read through it, you would know that I felt that way. But did you do anything new with it this year? Did you actually, like, revise it, finish it? I mean, it was technically finished, but I want to expand on stuff. I want to make some of the scenes longer, because some of those scenes are really short. But did you finish it? Were you able to put it on somewhere just for fun? Like, did you do it? Like, you work for a theater, did he do it? Did he put it on for you? Like, that would be amazing if that happened. You probably directed that if he did. Are you and Sari working on your movie? So back in 2019, Sari and I had started thinking about possibly doing a movie together, filming a movie together, and that obviously got put seriously on hold because of the pandemic. But now that things are lightening up, did you and Sari start working on your movie together? I hope it'd be fun to do, because the plan was to always, because there are a few movies on Netflix, but there are a couple movies specific on Netflix that are filmed entirely on iPhones, and I want to film this movie on a Samsung Galaxy S10 because that's what I have. So, did you do that this year? Is your job still going well? Give us an update on the job front. It's only been a year, but you were promoted twice in a year, so how's that going? Did you actually go to Los Angeles this year? So did you go to Paramorphicon? Did you go to Disneyland? Did you go to Santa Monica? Did you see Kyle and his wife? I don't say his wife's name on the internet because she kind of deleted all of her social media, so I try to keep her privacy what she wants it to be. So did you meet with Kyle? Did you meet with his wife? How are they? They good? I hope they're good. Did you get a new car this year? You've been toying with the idea of getting rid of the Kia that you have and getting a new vehicle. Specifically the vehicle that you've been thinking about getting before you got the Kia. Like, actually, before I decided to buy the Kia for my parents, I had actually test driven the vehicle that I want. And I loved it. Oh, and one of my friends has one now, and she loves it. So I'm like, I want to go back to that life. I love the Kia, but I want an all-wheel drive vehicle again. I miss having all-wheel drive vehicle. So I've been toying with the idea of getting rid of my Kia, but did that actually happen? Because it might not have, but that's okay if it didn't. It didn't. Have you done any more art? If you have, let us see some of it, because you probably haven't shown it on film yet. So do it. Here's another secret that I've never said on the internet before. I have wanted this since I was very young. Specifically since I joined band for the very first time, and I really wanted to learn this instrument. But my dad happened to have a trumpet, so I had to learn trumpet instead. Did you teach yourself saxophone this year? I've always wanted to play saxophone. It has always been a dream of mine to play saxophone. So did you buy yourself a saxophone, and did you teach yourself how to play it this year? Because dang it, I really want to learn how to play saxophone. Did you seriously get back into martial arts this year? You do martial arts almost every day. You can't go a day without it. You can't go a day without thinking about it. You can't go a day without doing it. But something that you've really been missing lately, something that I have really been missing over the last few years of my life, has been actually actively working out in martial arts and doing all of those things. Like, that's something I genuinely miss doing. And I really want to get back into it seriously. But I always talked myself out of it because I am a bigger person, and I was always afraid of being judged. But now that you're working on your body positivity, I'm just hoping that you're at a place where you can say, screw it, this is what I want out of my life. Because just like acting, martial arts is something you'll always, always, always go back to. Never once have you ever not wanted to do those two things since you got into them. So I would love to know if you got back into martial arts this year. Let me know. And finally, are there any big things, like I kind of said before I started these questions, there was nothing big from the questions last year that went outside of what I asked. I was pretty on point with a lot of those things. So is there any other big update that took place this year that may not even be on my radar? Things that happen just because it's the right time and the right place. Did that ever happen? Did something happen this year that completely changed your life that is not even on my radar? So let me know those things. 2022 Brit. I'll take the long way. So there you have it, my 2021 year wrap up and the questions I want to ask my 2022 self. Those are some big things that I want to have happen in 1 year. I'm sure some of them won't, and some of them will, but I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, these videos always bring me so much hope and excitement for the next year. At least that's what happened this last year. And thinking about it now, I am filled with so much joy and excitement over the possibility of any of those things happening. Any of those big exciting things that I asked if they happened. So looking forward to that. So I hope you all have a great New Year's. I hope you all stay safe, stay healthy, and let me know in the comments below what your biggest goal of 2022 is going to be, or what are you looking most forward to for 2022? What is happening next year that's going to change your life, or what are you hoping is going to happen that is going to change your entire life? Let me know in the comments below those things, and I'll see you all next time, technically next year. So if you guys want to see last year's video, you guys can click right here. If you guys want to see the video that I did the first time I ever did this in 2010, you guys can click right here. It was a completely different kind of video, but it was still kind of fun to do. Click here to subscribe to this channel. Click here to subscribe to my vlogging channel. I'm hoping to have weekly vlogs up coming up soon. So I hope you guys all enjoy. Hit like on this video if you liked it. Share it with a friend who may need a little bit of, I don't know, maybe they need a new friend and I can be their friend. Let me know. But yeah, so that's where I'm at, and I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day, and I hope you have an amazing new year. Bye.